Welcome back to Ballers World Live. This is your host, James Ship. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Anta. Go ahead and go to antaamerica.com. Use the promo code ESPN2 to get a 30% discount. Goodness gracious. And while I'm saying ESPN, shout out to ESPN for hosting us as well. Today we have a great call-in, a special guest, my man, Caron Butler. What's going on, brother?
Man, good, bro. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on.
My first question, so I was like doing my research, my Google research on you. And I want to know how you got the nickname Tuff Juice. That was like the one thing I wanted to know.
Tuff Juice.
How does that how does that even happen?
You know what? It really happened just from playing through injuries, playing through adversity. You know, like the watered down stuff that you don't see that as much today. You know, when guys have back injuries, they're not feeling comfortable, a little under the weather. They probably
pinky toes.
Out there and play, but
Yeah.
So I always went out there and played, man. And the organization, the Washington Wizards, Coach Eddie Jordan at the time, they just granted me that name and started calling me Tuff Juice.
Yeah. And it's stuck ever since.
It's stuck.
Well, Caron, Rod Watson here again. Thanks for coming on. You grew up in a rough part of Wisconsin, and right now you currently have your book that's out. What was the purpose of the book? What motivated you to write Tuff Juice or create this book for your readers?
Man, it's a long-winded answer, but to break it down shortly, it was more about just giving my testimony and just putting the information out there where you have a lot of dudes and brothers that come out of correctional facilities and that just feel like there's no hope, there's no way, that no how, no rhyme or reason how I can just get back on the straight path and just turn nothing into something.
Correct.
And that's exactly what happened in my situation. I had a strong foundation of women in my life, my mother, my grandmother being my father and my grandmother, and I just found a way. I imposed my will on the situation and I stayed consistent. I was heavy in prayer, and some good things happened. Some lanes started to open, and I took full advantage of it.
Mm. And now the book Rod was talking about is Tuff Juice: My Journey from the Streets to the NBA. Let everybody know a little bit what the takeaway is from the book and where they can find it.
All right, yeah. The takeaway, from the book is, it talks about my teenage years, and it talks about me, going through adversity. The adversity that I went through is, growing up selling drugs. I was incarcerated at the age of 13, more than 15 times. I got caught with a pistol and cocaine, ounce and a half cocaine, and ended up getting sentenced to 2 years in corrections. I got out, pretty much changed my life. Ended up going to prep school for 2 years, new environment, new situation. Ended up going to, the University of Connecticut, where I was granted the opportunity. But a lot of things happen in those gaps, as well, from being released from corrections, trying to fight to get back in school, not being able to go back to school in my city or my state, having to navigate, out east to go to prep school, end up getting into college, and then obviously, fighting all the, the pressures of my past, to get into the NBA. And then finally getting into the NBA and just having a long career, 14 years account, and just being blessed enough to do it. And you can find the book at any local, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com as well. And it's out there, been out there for a year and a half now. And, eventually it's going to be a movie produced by myself and Mark Wahlberg. So we're working on that process
Congratulations.
now.
Congrats.
Just got the script done and completed by Jason Liu. So happy about that.
Nice.
That's amazing.
If you need any extras, I'm available.
Trying to get in a movie deal.
She'll be a fan at UConn or something.
I just want to throw that offer out there.
Yeah, you can see her in Connecticut for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Man, and I think it's such an inspiring story because a lot of guys that I've been around who end up going overseas, they think that because of their past or because they didn't have it all together when it was time to declare or to try and make it into the NBA, they think they got to be squeaky clean and they think everything has to be perfect.
Correct.
And it's not that.
No.
It really comes down to your talent, your hard work, your toughness, and your mental toughness. And I think that's what's so amazing about your story, man, is that you 14 seasons, right?
Yep, 14.
You played for nine
different teams.
Nine different teams.
Yep.
And so you
And he's a champion,
and
by
you're
the
a
way.
champion,
Don't
and
leave
you're a
that out.
champion. You got the
NBA
ring,
champion.
and you got the ring. So you were able
Absolutely.
to prove, and you're a great example of somebody who, through adversity, through whatever it really took, you got the job done. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's an inspiration,
Absolutely.
man. Absolutely, it's an absolute
And
inspiration.
you know what? And that was the main purpose of putting that out there, you know, because, you know, people feel like, you know, when you're in those situations, you know, like it's no turning back from it. I just got to stay like this because this is my reality. But, man, you can change your reality, man. You can change it by, like, being consistent and being positive and having a positive, you know, mind frame and just taking baby steps to the situation. And, you know, this ain't no speech, you know, some talking points, man. This is my reality, man.
That's right.
You know, I had dudes dying around me, all my childhood friends that I played in the sandbox with.
Yeah.
These brothers dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I buried these dudes in plight of my journey, but at the same time, you know, this thing still happened for me because I stayed consistent in my journey. You know what I mean? I kept making those steps and that progress. So, like, that's why I felt like I had to put this out there. I had to give my testimony in. You know, it took time for me to feel comfortable talking about this to anybody, you know, but it was rather therapeutic doing it. And I was happy I'd done it because, you know, I changed a lot of lives. You know, a lot of people come to me, like you said, you know, I'm champion in basketball, all-star, everything. And they don't come to me talking about basketball, which I'm glad they don't. They come to me talking about my story and, you know, putting it out there. And that's what I did to inspire people, man. So that's I'm happy it happened like that. That was the vision. And I look forward to keep doing that.
Now, I have a question about UConn. What was it like for you to have someone like Coach Calhoun in your life? You know, what was it like when he came to specifically come see you to recruit you? And what did he teach you on and off the court while you're at UConn?
Yeah, well, like I told you, you know, earlier, like I didn't have that male role model in my life coming up. You know, I was raised by women, you know, strong women, and you know, this having Calhoun, you know, insert itself in my life as a young teenager still, you know, at the age of 17 and coming into, you know, my environment. You know, Calhoun came to the hood, man. He came to the South Side and saw me working out at a rec gym. And he was just like, man, I want you. This how bad I want you. I'm coming here. I'm telling you that I want you to be part of the UConn family forever.
Which is a rich family.
He believed in me. He didn't care about my past. All he cared about is, you know, helping me be a professional and worrying about my future. And he taught me how to be a professional on and off the court. You know what I mean? How to conduct myself in certain environments. And, you know, it really just helped me, you know, going forward to this day. And you know, I still talk to him and, you know, idolize him, you know, for doing that. You know what I mean? That's forever my mentor because of that.
Yeah. Well, amazing. You know, we're running out of time here, but before we go, I have a question for you, Caron. You talk about off the court, and your story is amazing to hear what you've actually gone through and what you've done to actually not only play college at UConn, but then have a 14-year career in the NBA when most people's careers are usually 2 to 5 years. Off the court, you know, a lot of players now are making more money than ever, a la, you know, $201 million deal that we just saw with Steph Curry and Blake Griffin, $176 million. Off the court, you've made some pretty good decisions with your finances. And when you talk about these players who come from these broken situations, oftentimes they think just having the money, the girls, the party, and it's always going to be there. What are some of the things you can share for life after basketball? Because once a player's career ends, that's usually like that's where their value really drops off. So what advice do you have for the young players and the guys that are even currently in the league?
And this is what I always tell guys. The roar of the crowd is not for you. It's for what you can do. And as soon as you can't do it, they'll be cheering for somebody else.
Correct.
And if that don't put it in perspective, nothing will. And with that being said, while you're on that platform, you got to utilize that platform as much as possible. Just as much as they're utilizing you in this platform, you got to utilize that platform. Every night you're going to be in front of thousands of people. And the closer the people are, you know, the closer that network is going to be.
Correct.
There's going to be people in different walks of life that's business owners and things that you probably aspire or wanted to do if you didn't play this game of basketball. So you got to capitalize on those opportunities. One thing that I did when I got out and I was in corrections, I wanted to be a franchise owner. You know, so I got into the restaurant business. Ended up owning 6 Burger Kings. And then I ended up selling my equity in that because I wanted to get into the vegan business. So we got 2 salad bars out in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And then I wanted to write a book. I wanted to do it myself. You know what I mean? So we put the product out there and, created Tuff Juice. I wanted to be behind the scenes and do production and things like that. I wanted to have my own, radio, television show and all those things.
Yes.
So I started getting off into that. Now I got my own radio show with TuneIn. So it was just things like that I had a plan, I had a vision, I had something that I wanted to do, and I utilized my resources to make that happen. And I'm telling you, a lot of the young dudes out there right now, they're making astronomical figures, but they got to use their resources, for life after basketball because, really, it's only 1,200 days, 1,400 days is an NBA career, and that's a long. It's got a lot of life afterwards, so you got to capitalize on it.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Well, that's knowledge, folks. That's knowledge. You heard it here. Ballers World Live.
Man, Caron, I'm sad to say that we have to go, and I'm like, I want to keep you on and just ask you.
We gotta get you in the studio.
We gotta have you come into the studio sometime, brother, because
anytime,
there's so many questions, man. I gotta ask you because just outside of your basketball career. Your life, man. Congratulations on your life, brother.
We got a full hour with Caron Butler.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Were you going to be in Los Angeles this summer?
Oh, absolutely. I stay out of Los Angeles, man. I stay out in Calabasas.
Okay,
man.
great.
So we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll connect with you and find some way to get you in the studio, man, so we could really pick your brain.
We also want to give a shout out to Greg, the guys over at Arbit, help making this connection here, getting Caron on, and I know you've got some involvement with that, and we look forward to working with those guys. But, much success to you, Caron, to you and your family and your future endeavors. Thank you for coming on, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Y'all take care, man. Blessed.
All right. We got to have Mr. DJ Mystery take us out on the ones and twos. Today was a great show, guys.
It was a great show.
We had Freeway Rick Ross on, the real Rick Ross in the studio.
Shout out to Anta.
Yes.
Shout out to ESPN.
Yes.
Follow our social media. Ballers World with a Z.
Yes.
With a Z.
That's it, folks. Until next week, holla.
Screw.